Now in 2012, Karen Ngugi took a step that would change her life. Karen, a deaf student, left the Muhoho Secondary School for the Deaf and enrolled at a regular school. In order to keep up with the lessons, her parents engaged the services of an interpreter and thus began a journey that is changing the perceptions long held by many around them. Well, Kistanyabo brings us that inspiring story.
Open, but they close again.
In Karen's world, only one voice matters.
It is possible.
It is soundless, but to her it is louder than all the other voices in the classroom. It speaks to her in a language full of unique signs and symbols, and through the one who wills it, she has found her voice. Miriam has been Karen's sign language interpreter for 3 years now. Their days together begin at 8 every weekday when Karen's lessons start. Little things such as where to sit in class have taken on a new significance. Karen chooses a seat that puts both teacher and interpreter in her line of sight. Every word uttered by the teacher is reflected by Miriam in sign language to Karen. And when the teacher has a question for Karen,
what happened to the stomach, Karen?
It's a hard word to pronounce, and that's why.
Fine, it's all right.
Miriam relays it in sign language and then verbalizes Karen's response. Questions and answers flow back and forth from class to class. It is a system that they have perfected through the years. Karen was not born deaf. She lost her hearing at the age of 4.
I was not born deaf. When I was 4 years old, I got meningitis, and then it left me deaf. No, it wasn't that hard because my family, they love me, they took care of me.
Karen's father insisted that she attend school and learn to speak as others did. But new challenges cropped up when she moved to a secondary school for the deaf.
When I joined Form 1 in Muhoho School for the Deaf, there is a Muhoho School for the Deaf, I learned sign language there. So I have the advance of 2 ways of communication. I have 2 ways of communicating. But being deaf meant that I do not socialize so much because now I'm deaf.
She soon decided to enroll in a regular school instead. The Braeburn school had never had a deaf student before, but they were willing to let her in. This meant that Karen's parents had to engage the services of a sign language interpreter, and thus the great adventure began. In the beginning, Karen and Miriam struggled to find their footing. They had to navigate through problems they had not anticipated.
There was one student, in fact in this class, but not in her class, who once asked me, where is your sick student? And then if I kept quiet, that I don't tell Karen, and later she comes to learn that I didn't tell her, it's also wrong.
But art class quickly became a favorite corner. Here at last was a place where words were not needed, and Miriam could hang back as the teacher took over.
My first art class with her was a very tough one. In fact, I opted to write because I was wondering, I speak and the interpreter tells me you're too quick. And it's art. Remember, it's a practical subject, so we need to draw. And there's no way I can just start drawing. I mean, it was just tough. I've learned sign language with her. And also I've learned to listen to her and hear her, and she would listen to me and hear me. A lot of lip reading. So when I'm with her, I'm careful to pronounce words so that she can be able to lip read.
Happy birthday to you.
While Miriam accompanies Karen to all lessons, during break times, Karen is left to her own devices to take tentative, vital steps alone towards a social life. Like typical teenagers, she and her friends have found ways to communicate.
That's what Karen was suggesting.
Okay, my friends here in school, we communicate, like we talk, with speech, They speak, I lip read. Sometimes I use my interpreter to speak to them.
Miriam and Karen's time together is drawing to an end. In June, Karen will complete her O-level studies, embarking on another phase. Already she is topping her class in most subjects.
Giving up if you give up, it never solves anything. Giving up is not a good thing. Even if you fail, you must get back and roll, continue rolling.
But the true test will come when she leaves. She will have to straddle both the hearing and non-hearing worlds and use what she has learnt here to succeed. A few words of sign language.
Hi.
Hi. Please. Sorry. And thank you. To the rest of the world, sign language often seems like a lot of hand gestures that bear little meaning. But for the deaf community, these signs ensure that in a world that grows increasingly louder, their voices are not lost. Will Kistanyabo, KTN in Thika.